Face the east. 2 fingers on the right, 5 on the left. Repeat after me. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Constitutional bylaws.
Islam, first like to rise, giving praise for Allah, Father of the universe, giving highest honors to his holy and divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, extending those honors to the forerunner, Marcus Mosaic Garvey, also extending honors to all Asiatics across the globe, especially Moorish Americans, as a clean and pure nation. Islam. Salvation, Allah, unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America. The Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and partial of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his father God, Allah. Noble Jew Ali, founder, Moorish American prayer, Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Jew Ali. Amen. Moorish Sun Symbol of America, Home Office of Noble Jew Ali, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Islam.
Islam. I'm trying to get this brother in here real quick. Bear with me more. I know you definitely gonna keep this. So, Moors, I just want to say, just because I know we're dealing with, the demonstration of, or this particular time and era with the coronavirus, COVID-19, and there's a lot of information coming out. A lot of things are happening. But we got to be sure that that we know that regardless of what information come out, man, we have certain things that we need to do, and the way we should react or respond or go about things should be always in line with Allah and His Prophet. Um, there's a lot of information that's good, and then there's some that some people overly exaggerate. You know, you know, but there's things that are definitely coming out. I could say that are definitely making us sit back. The election's coming up. Thinking like, out of the, I guess out of the batch of the worst, who would I vote for? If I vote for Biden, or am I gonna vote for Trump? The way things are going, personally, Trump looking good, right? Because we're starting to see how he's, what he's doing and what things have been done is disrupting things. It's still, his ties to the white supremacists and white wing fascist groups and stuff like that. It's definitely, so it's a red flag, but at the end of the day, there are certain things that he's done that is for the benefit of the American citizen. Islam, against a lot of corporate state or what they call the deep state, shadow government. So, we want to just kind of keep our eyes and our minds keen on what's going on. Moorish Americans, I don't think we don't really gravitate to a particular party, but we just gravitate to whoever's going to do the job and get things done for us. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. Who has the best of interests. Coming in, you talking about you want to, vaccinate everybody. You know what I'm saying? Without particular checkpoints and particular things set up that regulate the vaccinations, or or allow people to opt out of it, then you're definitely not going to get my vote. You know what I'm saying? Islam, that's just not how, it's not feasible. So, we know the prophet, he was able to heal anybody of anything that they weren't born of. I was watching the Cook Bay brothers, and they had an interview, the old interview with G Cook Bay and I Cook Bay, And our G Cook Bay was explaining how the prophet, man, he healed the sister just by looking in her eyes. You know, uh, that's actually a form of Reiki, a technique. You know, that certain people can send energy and whatnot from just staring at the eyes. That's why some people say guard your eyes. Somebody give you the stare. You know, that's why the hand of Fatima is worn in many different places. That's not just a cool shirt, a cool design to put on your shirt, man. That actually has energy. It's supposed to block that evil eye, that and tiger's eye gemstone. You know, because people can literally send groups on you just by giving you that stare. You know, it's not like a stare, you know, poker face stare, nothing like that. It's not like that. Not like, what you talk about with a stare, but it's like there's an actual look that certain people know how to put the look at people, and it immediately can put something on. That's real talk. It's real science. You know, real science. Islam. Uh, so just wanted to, talk about that. Just get that, a little breathing there, to talk about that. The situation is going on. People just need to be aware. Islam, you know, and if Prophet can do certain things, man, and he left certain things behind for us, it's our duty to look what that is. You know what I'm saying? Research, dig into, and find what it is, man. We're really starting at ground zero with the movement, man. We're literally starting. We're back. You know, we're back on State Street on the milk crate, Mo. Like for real, Morris. We haven't left that yet. We haven't even. I mean, granted, we got missions here. We got like maybe a few temples in our grand body. We got Temple 8, Temple 1, Temple 21, Temple 12, right? Those are the branch temples. I think Branch Temple 19 also, and Branch Temple like 16 in Atlanta. I think they were made of Branch Temple. I'm not sure. All right. Well, yeah, like what was that, like 5, 6? That's it. That's not bad, but even within the confines of each and one of those temples, they're not necessarily where they need to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not throwing dirt or shade on anybody. I'm just dealing with the reality. You know what I'm saying? Then you have missions, that only maybe like one or two people will be a part of. You know what I'm saying? Our dynamic over here. You know what I'm saying? I got, Mission 28 in New Jersey. I had to open the borders up, deal with, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and New York City. You know, so our mission is kind of complex a little bit because of the space. Got to deal with it, but this is the reality of it. We got to, it's a work. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be, nobody's coming in here, nobody should come in here and expect everything to be laid out. We got this, we got that, we got this. We ain't got none of it. We trying to get it. We're not trying to flash like a lot of other Moorish groups will try to flash what they have. We got these cards, we'll get you this, we'll get you we'll get your name, we know how to do this and that, this and that. But I keep it honest for people because I don't want you to come in here thinking that, it is and it's not. Because as soon as you find out it's not what you think it is, you lose all your confidence. And that's on me. That's not on you, that's on me because I try to sell something. Islam, try to sell something. And that's not what we should do. We shouldn't try to sell it in a way, we should present it, but we shouldn't try to pitch to sell it. Like, we're not trying to sell this thing to nobody. We're not trying to over glamorize, but we're dealing with the reality. What we need to do is set forth when we deal with this and we present more science, simple America, more divine national movement to Moors or to the lost, Asiatics and say, hey, this is the situation. This is where we at. Here's the goal. Would you like to join us in reaching this goal? You know, because if we stick on this road, we'll reach a destination that's not uncertain nor unsure. Islam. So, and I didn't mean to get my spill out, and Allah forgive me, but I'm gonna definitely jump to the presentation because I know that pretty soon Maghrib will creep up on us, and we will need to participate in Maghrib, inshallah. What I'm gonna do is first I want to rise, and I want to give high praise to Allah, humble praise to Allah, Father of the universe, the creator, sustainer of all the worlds. I want to give humble honors to all the prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius. Special honors to Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the prophet who was sent down the revelation in this particular month on the Meccan calendar, the revelation of Islam to break up all the confusion that was going on in time in Arabia, to bring people back into the true path or the original path that man is supposed to walk. I want to give honors to him. And I want to give honors to the one who rose up amongst us, who basically trailed the same path. If people study the life of the man who I'm giving honors to, and that's Prophet Noble Drew Ali. You will see the similarities between Prophet Noble Drew Ali and Prophet Muhammad. Islam, and I want to give honors to his forerunner, Marcus Mosaic Garvey. Give honors to the UNIA and those brothers and sisters still working to, basically help change our condition. Islam, I want to rise and give honors to the Moorish Scientific of America, cornerstone of the Moorish Divine National Movement. I want to rise and give honors to the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh, Edward Mealy. I want to rise and give honors to all the Supreme Grand Sheiks or Grand Sheikh and Chairmen, but Morris L., J. Walton L., Harlem Bay, O. Lewis L., D. Bailey L., P. Davis L., back to B. Bailey L., and to the current Supreme Grand Sheikh, Keith Anderson. Islam. I just want to say more, if anything I say or will say that may be out of law or out of sequence with the law and his prophet or his prophets, it is not fault of anyone else but myself. And it's not the fault of the movement, not the fault of the Prophet Muhammad Ali, and it's definitely not the fault of the great God Allah. Islam. So let's see. Morris, we have a treat here. Go ahead. I don't know if y'all can see this. Can y'all see this? I don't know if y'all can see that. If y'all on your phones, not, it's cool. There's a lot. I'm just going to demonstrate. Okay. Chapter 19 of the Moorish, or the Quran of the Moorish Scientific of America. I could have added more slides to this, but because of the sake of time, I know I was running into it. This is definitely a deep chapter. And certain things certain things, like I said, I was going into it in a certain way, and I started gravitating in a different direction. Okay, I wanted to try to do this on Friday, but I don't know why my brain was it Friday or yesterday? Saturday. Yesterday I had a chance to really sit down and I was reading and it just wasn't. I don't know. My mind wasn't clicking with the chapter at the time, and I don't know what it was, but after like today, I opened up the chapter again, and it started to come to me. I knew certain concepts, but I'm gonna try to make certain things. Um, Inshallah, may Allah bring certain light to certain ideas. Ooh. Let me see if I can put this on. What's it called? Chapter 19. Jesus appears fully materialized to the Eastern sages in the palace of Prince Ravana in India, to the Magian priests in Persia. Three wise men speak in praise of the personality of the Nazarene, Islam. Mm. Okay. Ravana, Prince of India, gave a feast. His palace in Orissa was the place where men of thought from all farther east want to meet. Ravana was the prince with whom the child Jesus went to India with when 12 years old. I remember Jesus when Jesus was working with his father, Joseph, and Ravana was in town. You got to hear word of him. Ravana heard word of Jesus, heard Jesus demonstrate, offered like, hey, would you like to come with me to my homeland and be taught? And Jesus asked his parents, and his parents gave permission, and he went and they studied the holy books, the Veda, the Rig Vedas, and so forth and so on. The feast was made in honor of the wise men of the East. Among the guests were Mengeste, Vidyapati, and Lamas. The wise men sat about the table talking of the needs of India and the world. See, they were already thinking of the needs of India, basic cardinal things, cardinal issues regarding what India needs, what the world needs, basic politics, so forth and so on. The door onto the banquet hall was in the east. A vacant chair was at the table to the east. And as the wise men talked, the stranger entered, unannounced, raising up his hands in benediction, said, "All hail." A halo rested on his head, and light, unlike the light of the sun, filled all the room. Wise men rose and bowed their heads and said, "All hail." And Jesus sat down in a vacant chair. And then the wise men knew it was the Jewish prophet who had came. Jesus said, "Behold, I am risen from the dead. Look at my hands, my feet, my side." Right? The Roman soldiers pierced my hands and feet with nails. Then one pierced my heart. Now pay attention to this. Islam, read it again. Verse 12. The Roman soldiers pierced my hands and feet with nails. And then once pierced my heart. Then one pierced my heart. Pardon the body. They put me in a tomb And then I wrestled with the conqueror of men. I conquered death. I stamped upon him, and I arose, brought immortality to light, and painted on the walls of time a rainbow for the sons of men. And what I did, all men shall do. This gospel of the resurrection of the dead is not confined to Jew and Greek. It is. Let me see. I think I might have cut that off. It is the heritage of every man, of every time, clime, and I am here, a demonstrator of the power of man. Islam. So, as you can see, at this time, Jesus appears to Ravana, appears to his company. And he's in a different state. He's not in the same state. He appears, he sits in the vacant chair. They look at him, they already know what it is. They know what time it is when they see him. That's why they say all hair. They didn't say, who are you? Remember, he was a stranger when he walked in. They didn't recognize him at first. And then he sat in this vacant chair. Why the chair was vacant? Because the chair symbolically was open for that particular person. Only those particular people could sit in that chair who did what Jesus did. So let's look at some specifics here. Verse 12. And this is what pulled out. I don't know what it drew. Something drew my attention to something, because when you always talk about the I would say the crucifixion, or you talk about Jesus appearing, and we're thinking like, okay, there's always an attention given to the pierce of the hands, the pierce of the feet, and the side. Now he said his side. Right, let's go back real quick. In the first shot, he says, my side. In the verse 11, he says, I am risen from the dead. Look at my hand, look at my feet. Look at my hand, look at my feet, look at my side. Look at my hand, my feet, my side. And then 12 says, Roman soldiers pierced my hands and feet with nails, and then one pierced my heart. That's something special about that. Because he said, look at my side. Look at your side. What is he saying? It's specific in 12, he's going more detail. He's saying that his heart was pierced to his side. But why? Why is that necessary to even tell people that? Now, for the layman reader, it's going to be like, okay, it's the proof that he was dead. And that they actually checked to see if the body was actually, if he was still alive. Well, for ones to dig deep into the knowledge, you have to understand that these have symbolism. And when you look at certain things, when certain things are pointed out in text, it has to draw you towards a specific meaning and take you towards a specific need. So let's look at hands and arms. Here in display, I have what you have, the zodiac of the body. Let's look at hands. It doesn't really necessarily have hands here, but they have the arms, which the arms are attached to the hand. So you could say arms is in Gemini, or the hands, right? Because hands are more intricate, because the hands in itself are a whole zodiac on the hands. You know about the hands. People can do hand reading, palm reading. The zodiac is on the hands usually. You know what I'm saying, on your whole hand. That's why usually you don't see it in the chart when you're dealing with the body, the full physical body, because all the signs that exist on each limb of the body are also on every point of the hand. So this is from a farmer's almanac. I don't know if this is exactly the farmer almanac of brother Banneker or Benjamin Banneker, but this is actually from an almanac. Okay, so as you can see, we have feet, which is Pisces. Okay, and you have the heart, which is Leo. Right, Leo's the heart. And notice where the heart, look where he's pointing. Where the heart is. It's at the side. You see that? See how the arrow's not pointing across here. The arrow's pointing right here in the side. Islam? That's interesting. Highly interesting. Let's move on. Notice he mentions his hands and his feet being pierced and his heart being pierced in the 12th verse. 12th verse equals the 12th house. What is the 12th house? In the zodiac, it means the endings, healing, closure, spirituality, solitude, karma, old age, afterlife, what's hidden, limiting beliefs, subconscious. And notice in verse 14, he says, brought immortality to life. So everything that was speculated before, he has now brought it into full manifestation. In the 12th verse, meaning the 12th house. This is how this thing is set up. See, people take the Moorish Holy Quran and think it's like, it's elementary. Like, it's like you could throw this away. You need to read this book on this one. And this one, most of these, look, stop for a lot. I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody, but in the reality, most of these Moors out here who claim to be these master teachers and stuff have not even mastered the Moorish Holy Quran yet. The 12th verse is the 12th house. And he's talking about resurrection, everything. So let's go deeper into it real quick. And let me know if I need to slow up. All this is being recorded, so once it's, you guys can keep it afterward. Signs in one house, meaning, so you got conjunctions. These are the signs in the house. Why? Why are these signs in one house? Hands, let's break it down. The hands equals expression, power, your outer ego. Your hands are used for protection, is used for your expression of yourself. You create with your hands. Your reality is perceived through your hands a lot of times. You shape your reality through your hands. Okay? Feet. Your feet equals the connection to the material world or a foundation when you set in. This is why children or babies are very spiritual, or very, very spiritual. because they have not yet touched ground yet. They're still in between. This is why some people say when a baby is touched by an elder, the elder and the baby have so much connection because the baby has gone, the baby is coming from where the elder is going. Islam. I have a picture somewhere, if I could find it, of my son. And when we brought my son to see my family for the first time, and he was a baby, and everybody got a chance to hold him, so what? And then my grandma wanted to hold him. Next thing you know, my grandma is sleeping or her eyes is closed in the chair outside on the patio because that's where she like resting. And my son is just resting in her arms, like at peace. Both of them were like, seemed like they were connected right at that point. You know what I'm saying? And when I showed one of my supervisors that time, she said, yeah, because he's coming from where she's going to end up going eventually. It's a spiritual connection. See, babies are very spiritual because they have not connected. That's why they're so acceptable to the vibration, not vibration, but to spiritual things. They can see things. You see why they're crying. Sometimes they overly crying. Sometimes they might see something that's startled, but you can't see. You know what I'm saying? Baby. So the feet, because the feet, they have not walked yet. As they walk and explore, then their consciousness becomes to get filled. Then the glass becomes filled with other stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's no longer pure as pure now. You know what I'm saying? Conscious becomes a little more cloudy now because now they're dealing with material realm and trying to explore and get to know the material world now. Islam. So, you gotta think about some people who may be in a vegetative state. They're still conscious, but the conscious is not running the material world no more. They're in the back world. I think a lot of times, medical specialists, they might have it wrong on how to treat some of these people. People with autism, people with different brain issues and stuff like that. They're not even dealing with certain sciences. They just dealing with, what medication I could do, what electric shock or pulses I could send to them, and that kind of like defeats the purpose. Right? Third bullet point, the heart, core self. The core self. Who is your true self? Right? All these in one house because, as I wrote down, all these are in one house means they were going through or have went through a spiritual transformation. These aspects of Jesus have went through a change in order for him to meet the state that he was in. That's the map. Your awareness or your outward expression, your ego has to get pierced. Your foundation has to get pierced. And last, your heart has to get pierced in order for you to meet or become that spiritual being or that light in transit person. Islam? Any questions? About, if I'm going too fast or if I'm moving too deep, let me know, Mo. I'm not trying to hold y'all. Islam.
Well, praise to Allah, sounds to props sounds to all the youth on Sunday school. I had a question about the one house. Does that mean like if you're doing like a natal chart? Is that what that mean?
Yeah, yes, Mo.
All right, that's all. Right.
Yes, Mo. It's on one house. That means that basically that part of his life, in that sense, all his those particular aspects were all in one house. And that particular that house houses that particular transformation, that energy.
Right.
Wow. Somebody, oh, hold on, Mo. All right, chapter 19. Continue. Then he arose and passed the hand of every man of the royal host and said, Behold, I am not made of fleeting winds, for I am flesh and bone and brawn, but I can cross the borderland at will. And then they talk, and together there a long time. Jesus said, I go my way, but you shall go to all the world and teach the gospel of the omnipotence of men, power, truth, and the resurrection of the dead. I go my way. Wait a minute, sorry. And then they talk together there a long time, a long time. And then Jesus said, I go my way. I'm sorry, I missed my part. Pardon about it. Here we go. That's better. He who believes this gospel of the Son of Man shall never die, and the dead shall live again. And Jesus disappeared, but he had sown the seed. The words of life were spoken to Orissa. All of India heard. The Magian priests were in the silence of the Persepolis, and Caspar, and the Magian masters, who were first to greet the child of promise in the shepherd's home in Bethlehem, were in the priests. Jesus came, sat with them. A crown of light was on his head. And when the silence ended, Caspar said, a master from the royal council, the silent mother is here. Let us give praise. And all the priests and masters stood and said, all hail. What message from the royal council do you bring? Jesus said, my brothers of the silent brotherhood, peace on earth, goodwill to men. The problem of the age has been solved. The Son of Man, risen from the dead, has shown the human flesh can be transformed into flesh divine. Before the eyes of men, this flesh in which I come to you was changed with speed of light from human flesh. And so I am the message that I bring to you. To you I come, the first of all, in the race of transmuted to the image of Allah. And what I have done, all men will do, and what I am, all men shall be. Okay. All right, Mose. So I changed locations real quick. But I have certain highlight areas here, and certain notes. I thought this was a pop-up, but I guess it didn't pop up. But Bethlehem, I highlighted it because Bethlehem, even though we know or we recognize it as a place, it actually has a spiritual meaning. When you speak of Bethlehem, Bethlehem symbolically means, y'all can write this down if you have a pen or whatever, it means a place in the mind or condition of the mind to make way for the Christ conscious. Okay? Is when the mind is at peace and there's a vacancy. Remember, they went to Bethlehem, and you know the story of Jesus, Mary and Joseph. They were looking for a space, and there was no vacancy, but there was vacancy in the in the barn and so forth, or in the on the manger. Okay, so what it symbolically means is Bethlehem represents the space of the mind that's open for the initial Christ conscious to come. Okay, it's that spark of energy, that attention span that you have, that open. Because some people can't get it. They'll hear things, but they can't grasp it. It's when you have that initial spark of information that comes. You know what I'm saying? And when you have that open, when you have almost like that, when you know you're looking for something, and I'm trying to make it as clear as day, when you know you're looking for something along the lines of enlightenment and so forth, that space in your mind is there. And but there needs to stay that way in order for that particular child or that ideal to grow. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we'll clutter it with other things, and therefore that consciousness can't grow. So we're dealing with a process here, talking about a spark of the thought, the mind, and then as I continue to read and go down, you'll see how the process comes into play. So the problem, I'm gonna jot down to 27. It says the problem of the age has been solved. The Son of Man is risen from the dead. Right? As shown, the human flesh can be transformed into the flesh divine. Okay. And then highlighted right here, verse 28, before the eyes of men, this flesh in which I come to you was changed with the speed of light from human flesh. Right? And as I am a messenger, as I'm a messenger, or I'm the message that I bring to you. So, and to you I come, but first of all, all the race, to be transmuted. There goes that word, transmuted, to the image of Allah. Now, the highlighted point here, to the image of Allah, doesn't mean you are, the same exact mirrored image of Allah. When you look at this particular part, the image of Allah, you need to think about Genesis 1, or Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Dealing with, and we'll go into it here. We'll go into this part. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, dealing with the man, creation of man. You need to think about that. Let us create God. Let us create man in our image and likeness. You understand? In that perspective. Not, an exact, likeness, but in saying in our image and our likeness. So we're talking about a grade of existence that's higher than mortal man or higher than the most normal human being. Okay. Now here you see I have this thing right here. We have a comparison: the Son of Man versus the Son of God. Okay. So now some people look at this like, oh my God. Like, look, you have to understand that you got to get past the orthodoxy and understand the archaic understanding of these words, of these phrases. Okay? The Son of Man. It's not necessarily the man, but a symbol of the soul of man in the stage of being made perfect, wherein the lower nature is being purified finally by the higher. So what it is that your lower nature, your higher nature, is now working your lower nature. It is in control now. And it's changing those things that are connected to your lower nature to a higher self. So you're in the process. You're the son of man. You're the son of mind. Because the son of man is the son of mind. Now you're in tune with pure thought. So once you begin to change your thoughts, the son of mind, son of man, then you're basically in the process. Islam, son of Allah. Okay, a symbol of the second logos or the higher self, first emanation from the Father, the absolute first logos. This is symbolic. This is Gnostic. This is high understanding. This is why a lot of people, even Muslims, and even at the time of early Islam, and a lot of Muslim scholars and different people, they had names such as Ibn Allah or Allah in their attribute. I thought at first it was just a 5%. Growing up, I thought only the 5% is put Allah in there. And then I started to read, and then there's many different scholars and Muslims of the time of Moorish dominion and early Islamic campaign where they had that. They had the name of Allah in their name. Abdullah, you know what I'm saying? Those type of things are, those are not necessarily meaning that someone is the actual product or offspring of Allah. But like I said before in early presentations, that it only demonstrates the connection one has, and that the likeness and characteristics are now aligned. What the Sufis would say, finding fi Allah, that you die to Allah. You become one and connected to Allah. So the Son of Allah is the same, or is pretty much saying the same thing, finding fi Allah. It's a symbol of the second logos. You are the second logos. The first logo is the absolute. You can't be that. That's when you totally eliminate. There is no concept of you when the logos, when you talk about the first logo. Islam, that's the absolute. But the second emanation, this is why in Surah 15, Ayat 26, all the way down, when you Ayat 26 to, I'll say 28, Ayat 28, 29, you're dealing with those bowing down when Allah says, once I make this man, and I breathe my breath into him, my spirit into him, you angels bow down. People think it's a separate being. It wasn't really a separate being. He basically breathed his spirit. You're bowing down to the spirit of Allah that's in there. Not bowing down to the actual form of creation. You're actually bowing down to the spirit of Allah. So that's why he can bow. If he didn't breathe his spirit into man, it would be no need for anyone to bow down. And it wasn't bow down in worship, it was bow down in respect. Islam. He didn't say bow down worship, man. He said bow down obeisance. Just bow down in respect. So when you're dealing with these concepts, you're not dealing with a progeny of that's my son. We all have children. Okay, and we know our children grow up to replace us eventually. Understand? You can never replace the omnipotent, the absolute one, Allah. Ain't no way. Especially the concept of who we are and all the failures that we've done in life up to this point. Ain't happened. I mean, it's all part of the process, but we're talking about something beyond our concept. Our concept. Some of us can't even sleep without the lights on, without a little light on, or something. We scared something. So think about the absolute. The absolute is, beyond comprehension, beyond our understanding. You know what I'm saying? We're just saying that the son of Allah, or that absolute, or that second logos, is there in line with the will of Allah. Like I mentioned before, the will. That person reached that point, and that point, second logos, is actually the first man. If you read within, our divine constitution and Bible, you know what I'm saying? What they, Friday is our holy day. Why? First man was formed the day first man was formed in flesh, and it was on a Friday. First man departed out of flesh. We give you the process. Departed out of flesh. Think about it. When you depart out of flesh, Jesus departed out of flesh. His flesh, he changed the nature of his flesh. Through the will of Allah, of course. Move on. Is there any questions? I'll go on.
Islam, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Did you just now say that when they say Friday is a holy day for Muslims all around the world because that's the first day man was put into flesh, and the first day he departed out of flesh? Is that referring to? Did you just say that's referring to the spiritual deep deportation from the lower self to the higher self, or is it
Exactly.
the actual first the first death of the first man?
Nah,
First physical death of the first man.
no. It was dealing with the what you said, the former, your first statement.
So can you relate that? I think you know I'm gonna be going with this. So in relation to Venus and how the 5-pointed star Venus, and Friday is Venus or Venus. That is a symbol of fertility, and I guess in life. Is there a correlation with all of that?
Islam, yes. That's why the Venus star, the star, when we fly the star is erected. That 5-pointed star is erected. That means ascension. When it's pointed down, that means descension.
Mm-hmm.
Islam.
And it's green for life at the
Green for
same
life.
time.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And that's why we have the 5-pointed green star in the sun. Islam. Let's see. Verse 31. But Jesus said no more. In one short breath, he told the story of his mission to the sons of men, and then he disappeared. The Magi said, "Some time ago we read this promise, now fulfilled upon the dial plate of heaven. And then we saw this man who has just demonstrated unto us the power of man to raise the carnal flesh and blood to flesh to Allah, a babe in Bethlehem." Understand that? But there you go right there, Bethlehem. And after many years, he came, sat with us in these same robes, He told the story of his human life, of trials, sore temptations, buffeting, and woes. He pressed along the thorny way of life till he had risen and overthrown the strongest foes. Amen. And he is now the only master of the human race whose flesh has been transmuted into divine flesh divine. He is the God-man of today, for everyone of earth shall overcome and be like him, a son of Allah. Okay? And I explained what that was earlier. Here's the definition of transmutation. And I put this up here a little mean. But transmuted. Officially, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy just means the energy is transmutable, meaning energy can transfer into matter and then back into pure state of energy. This word religions get their beliefs that after our bodies die, our soul, representing our energy, will transfer into a different state. In other words, it never dies. So what Jesus did was break the law of particular nature, where man usually waited until his point of death for the soul to be released. That's what Jesus did, was he particularly changed the law or showed that the law could be broken and that the energy, your soul, can be transmuted before your body meets physical death. And the fact that your body can harmonize with your soul and combine in transmutation. Okay? This is a deep understanding. And this is what alchemy is. This is what alchemy is. But we can make this very practical. Very practical. How do we present ourselves daily? Islam? How do we move about our neighborhoods, amongst our friends, family, co-workers? What changes are we actually putting forth to help transmute our current situation? Islam? I mean, I we explained the archaic stuff, but we could do it from a practical point. Islam? We can alter our state from a practical point. It's not easy to do, but the concept can be easy to understand. If we go back and we say, okay, what aspects of our life can we change or we need to change? Or what things need to be pierced in order for us to change? We're holding on to things, holding on to ideas and things, and it's keeping us at a certain state. Those things need to be pierced. Islam? So it's practical. I'm just giving you a practical understanding of the lesson. It's time during Ramadan, this is the time to actually think about that. Islam. I don't want to leave it too long because I think we'll see. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Let me not go too far. Hold on a little bit. Look at the time here. Yeah. What time is that? Make sure we running good. Okay, we're 7:03. Okay, we got like almost done. Well, I ain't going to run into y'all to my grid. To my grid. Let's keep going. See, the prophet, when he not wrote, pardon the Bible, when he put this particular thing, he compiled this, divinely prepared. He knew particular words would stand out. Transmute actually appears twice within that chapter. Islam. One of my teachers, he always says you have to look at things from all perspectives. There's a legal doctrine there's a doctrine of transmutation in law. And this is a side note. It's not necessarily really ties into the essence of the lesson, but this is something you want to pick up. Islam, but the certain concepts are also legal concepts within the Moorish Holy Quran, or the Quran and Moorish Scientific America. You have to understand that there's concepts that can serve in law as well. The doctrine of transmutation in laws, transmutation in a doctrine in property law, which allows the conversion of a separate property interest into marital or community property by agreement between spouses or by contribution of marital or community assets to the separate property, as for maintenance or improvements. If you look at this affidavit on the side, this is the original affidavit filled out by Prophet Nabi. You can see the names. Nabi, Milieu, Milieu, Hall Bay, supposed to be Small Bay, Lubbock Bay, and Foreman Bay. Okay? And then it says the Moorish Scientific America, deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad to propagate faith and extend the learning of the truth of the great prophet of Ali in America. All right? To anoint, appoint, and consecrate missionaries of the prophet, and to establish the faith of Muhammad in America. But you look at this affidavit was filed in accordance to Her's Revised Stat in the Religious Act, 1872. Okay? Well, transmute property means that being a society, established us as a society, okay, right? In law, a religious society, congregation, and church, okay? Let me go to share right here. I'm gonna go to my screen. Go to my screen. Go to my screen real quick. Real quick load. I'm gonna stop this real quick. Let me show. I'll get right back to it. Sorry, my bad, Mo. I had you on. Okay. I have right here revised statutes of Illinois. I have the whole book right here on PDF. And I'm gonna show you something real quick. If we go up. I have right there too. I wish they could have bookmark. Chapter 24. Here we go. Pardon me for a minute. I'm gonna get y'all there real quick, and then we're gonna close out. I have to. Ooh. Almost there. Okay. Right here, if Moors can see the religious corporation, right? 36 is where affidavit is derived from, what the prophet filled out. Okay, you see it? It's right here. They actually, they had a form actually, but the form was based off of this here. State of Illinois, I solemnly declare, affirmed the case may be that the meeting of the members from a room, Noble League, the media, Small Bay, Love Bay, Foreman Bay, blah blah blah. You can see it. If y'all can see it, y'all can make it out. But this is the affidavit here. Okay? But this is where I want to point your attention to. So, of course, got the movable trustee, blah, blah, blah. What you got here, try to make it bigger. Okay, cool. Property to vest in corporation, except ETC, upon the incorporation of any congregation, church, society, all real personal property held by any person or trustees for the use of the members thereof shall immediately vest in such corporation and be subject to its control. May be used, mortgaged, sold, and conveyed the same as if it had been conveyed to such corporation by deed, but no such conveyance or mortgage shall be made so as effect or destroy the intent or effect of any grant, devise, or donation that may be made to such person or trustee for the use of such congregation, church, society. Islam. So, what it's saying is that this is giving the permission, and it goes in detail what the gifts, the grants. 42 talks about any corporation that may be formed for religious purposes under this act or under any law of this state, or the incorporation of religious societies they receive by gift, devised, pure. You can look at 239, 293, chase land, not exceeding the quantity, including the already held by such corporation, 10 acres, may erect or build thereon such houses, buildings, other improvements as may been as deemed necessary for the convenience, comfort of such congregation, church, society, and may lay out and maintain thereon burying ground, but no such property shall be used except in the manner expressed in the gift, grant, devised, or if no use or trust is so expressed, except the benefit of the congregation, church, society, which was intended. So any property given or granted can be given, transmuted into the hands of the more science temple of America. Islam. So you're dealing with the, according to this, it's technically the same as what you would consider a transmutation, a law of transmutation. Islam. So I had to drop that little gem in there, or the way the prophet set it up, so you're dealing with, also aspect of law. And 713, give y'all close basically Remember, for anybody on here who is not a member, Morris Miles Mission 28, um, basically jurisdiction is above, of course, the whole New Jersey, uh, Philadelphia, basically, New York City. We are going to have the nationality membership orientation class via Zoom app. It's going to be starting on the orientation is going to be May 21st. Where I'll just explain what it is and what we're doing. July 20th, and it's going to start 25th. On the 25th is actually first class. It's going to be every Monday, inshallah. And then July 20th, hopefully, if the social distancing is good, even if the social distancing is still on, we'll still make do. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of people. But social distancing, hopefully it goes down, we can have an outdoor presentation of what we call nationality ceremony. The people receive their cards and so forth and so on that day. You will not have to pay your $20 until you completed the test. Okay? Once you complete the test, you pass the test, then you pay your $20. You know what I'm saying? Or, pay your $20 dues. Or when I give you that, I'll give you the application. Once I give you the application, pay your dues or whatever, like pay your 20. Because the $20 basically is your dues. That's what all it is. It's just your dues, I got whim that European yeah. Yes, sir, man. I got you. I got wind that when some of the European people like Virgo Triad, some other people that be following the guy Jamal and Rise of the Moors, they got wind of my flyer, and they were going to try to put me under that whole, put us under that basically, like we scamming the people. And I'm asking for $20. If I'm scamming, I'm gonna be asking more than that, more than $20. And I'll tell you to pay at the end of the course. If you don't pass the course, you don't have to pay. You know what I'm saying? If you quit in mid stride of the course, you don't owe $20. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, the $20 is your first month's dues. You know what I'm saying? To get processed, pay to be 1 month in when you join. So all this is something asking for your first month dues. We got hand sanitizer campaign coming. This is going to be, we're going to mix it with some aloe. I think that our hand sanitizer is going to mix with aloe and tea tree oil. So it's going to have some good properties with it. It's not going to be just pure alcohol, what's in the normal hand sanitizer. And we're going to be selling them for about $7 a bottle. They're going to be the regular 8-ounce bottle, and we're going to be selling it for $7, which is good because a lot of times nowadays you're going to pay at least $10 for a good bottle of hand sanitizer. This is along with our campaign for the 2020 census. Okay, so we're looking for that. We're waiting on the Moors from out of Pittsburgh. Brother Elder Von Bay, Sister Black Bay. They actually have the Connect, and those Moors. We're going to be talking about this later this week, probably Tuesday. We're going to have a business call. Okay, at 8 o'clock. And we're going to talk about the hand sanitizer campaign. We're going to talk about the nationality thing, and I got some other stuff I want to shoot by you, Morris. What we're going to do, what I want to do. Hopefully, it depends on of course, it depends on how this whole pandemic runs out. Okay. Then you Morris, Brother McCoy Bay, you still there, Islam?
Islam.
You got the readings with you?
Yeah, I keep that with me more. Islam.
Yes, sir, Mo. Could you do the readings for us, and then we close out? Yeah.
All right. Islam. I rise, giving praise to Allah. I give high honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Salvation, Allah, unity. The more, pardon me. The Moorish Science Temple of America. Noble Drew Ali, founder. Send all official business to the Home Office in care of Supreme Grand Chief Dandruff L. Chicago, Illinois. A warning from the Prophet to be read in every meeting. Islam. I hereby inform all members that they must put an end to all radical and agitating speech while on their job, homes, or on the public street. We advocate peace and not destruction. Stop trying out your cards with the Europeans, for it causes confusion. There has been much confusion caused by members trying out their cards. The cards are for your salvation. Failure of obeying my orders will be of severe consequence. We offer love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members that seek to hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or to violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet, and if they lose confidence in their prophet, give up your card and button, cease wearing your turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. For this is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet is sending out a divine plea to all true Moorish Americans that they may do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace. Noble Drew Ali. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claimed that it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me, so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and of uplifting funds, the ones that paid their divine respect to me and movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam, this is the instruction from your prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on. but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, Ad Noble Drew Ali. And that is why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid and cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your profit. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace. Your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam.
Islam. Go ahead and close the meeting. If there's any questions or concerns, let me, before I close. Okay. Allah bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers' divine creative principle. This we ask in thy holy name in the silver name. Amen. Islam, Moors. Peace and love.
Islam Moors, peace and love. Praise Allah.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.